Way-ho, we're live for the first time in I don't know how long on YouTube. Wow, this seems like so much better than doing it on Facebook. Just like all the features you can get. What is this? I think this is for comments. Sorry, guys. I think I might have done this once in a while. I might not. Yeah, like once or twice. So I'm still trying to figure everything out. And then you get comments and shit popping up as well. So we have one viewer. So hello to the one person watching right now. This is also going to be watchable or viewable afterwards. So 3 people. We got more people coming. That's great. So welcome everyone to the Master of Puppets first live stream on YouTube in ages. I think I got everything working right now. It looks like I will see comments. Yeah, there we go. Comments right there. Hey, Jordi Rios. Is that how you pronounce your name? I've been really bad at doing like these live streams in a long time, but I've been just so crazy busy. Oh, no, we're not going to stop the live stream. How do I get that stuff away? So this is so not well rehearsed. Okay, we're going to leave it like this. Now I can see the comments, and we're good. So, as the title says of this video, and again, hi, Jordy, thanks for saying hi. We got some beer mail to unbox from Beerdome and Beergium, and I want to talk a little bit about my upcoming Japan trip. I'm actually going to Japan in a month and 3 days from now, during the height of the coronavirus that everyone talks about. It's such bad timing, but right now they have not issued any warnings about going to Japan other than being careful. And Elike says, hello, Peter. How are you? I'm doing very good. Thank you. Hope you're doing well too, dude. Yeah, so getting all prepped for that trip. Let's try and get this moved a bit. The camera here. So we got everything is prepped pretty much. The itinerary, everything, which is great. But I think we'll get into that a little bit later because I'd love to hear some feedback from you guys and like stuff you'd like to see videos on. Because I definitely want to do videos that are hi Mikael. This is just Michael, by the way. That's his full name. The Stig. So just Michael the Stig Moonson. But yes, I got a haircut. But back to this whole charade. So I'll get into the whole Japan thing. I'd love to hear what you guys would like to see. I think more of the stuff that I'm going to do in Japan, or most of it, will be food. And not like junk food. I want to do like all the like okonomiyaki, udon, like different ramen, sushi. I mean, we're gonna go eat. We booked a table at the Royal Muria. I can't pronounce any of these things. A restaurant in Kobe. It's like the second highest rated place for Kobe beef, and we're gonna go there to eat Kobe beef, A5. Highest quality. I mean, you got to do it. And the reason why we picked that over the #1 menu or place online at the moment, or according to people online, is because that place doesn't have English menus or websites or anything, and you had to book through another website, and it seemed a bit shady. So, but before we get into this is probably the biggest beer mail unboxing I've ever done. I think we have over 40 different beers. These 2 boxes arrived at the same time from my 2 fantastic sponsors, Beergium and Beerdome. So Beergium, you probably know, they are based in Belgium. They've been sponsoring me for a few years now. And a little bit newer, but still also sponsored me for a couple of years now, is Beerdome. They're based in the Netherlands. So I got 1 box yesterday, Beergium, so that's just to, I can just get the bottles out here. So I think we'll start with that, and then we'll do Beerdome afterwards, just get these stickers out of the way. But the numero uno beer that I got from Beergium, I'm fucking stoked about trying, because I tried one of the beers that's in this beer, which is like the best barley wine barrel-aged barley wine I've ever had, or one of them. Like King Henry might still be number uno, but this is waxy boy. This is Anchorage Endless Ending. This popped up in Europe, and it was gone within a fucking flash, and it was really, really expensive. It was not a cheap bottle of beer to get, but people just went nuts for this stuff because it's super hyped. Because part of this beer is Anchorage famous A Deal with the Devil, which is their barley wine. And, you know, I've actually tried that. And see, oh, got some different. I unboxed my total beer cup silver today and already started drinking it. Amazing, Emil. And Daniel Willis says, greetings from Oklahoma. Oklahoma, isn't Prairie in Oklahoma? We've got some Prairie in this box. Oh, now the comments disappeared. Ah! This was 40 euros. Crazy expensive. But Brett and I, we were like, we have to get it. So we got a Beerdome. And again, the way it works with these shops, I actually buy the beers myself, but I get a very good discount on the beers. So I still spend some money on it. But it's, if you buy it like at the full price in the store, it will be $40. So finally got this one to try. It's a mix of an Imperial Stout and A Deal with the Devil. I don't know the Imperial Stout. Aged in Woodford Reserve double oaked barrels. It's 15.5%. I might be drinking this, not this weekend, but the weekend after, because I have a small share with Brett. And then because of that, we got a lot of fresh Anchorage. So we got a few fresh Anchorage beers. We got a classic I'd love to re-review, and that is the Anchorage Brewing Company, the Tides and its Takers Triple. I thought this deserved a re-review. I remember this being a fan. Wow, we got like 12 rears now and growing. Woo! This beer I loved to death back in the day. I just remember it was just like such a cool take on a triple, because it's triple fermented with a triple, like a Belgian, I think it's Trappist yeast, then inoculated and finished with Brettanomyces and re-fermented as well in the bottle. And it's also been aged in Chardonnay barrels. I think pretty much all the beer they do at Anchorage is barrel aged. And then we got more Anchorage. It'll be interesting to see if I can fit all of these beers on this table. This is a collab with Gigantic Brewing Company, and this is their An Eternity, which is a saison with Brettanomyces and Marion berries. This will be interesting too. So like a Brett saison, I don't know if this is okay. Yeah, it's been in French oak folders, so it's definitely okay. I don't know much about this one, and I don't think I've reviewed any Gigantic beer, but I've had a decent amount at Before Beer Celebration. Then this one, which just sounds freaking fun. And weird. This is a Jackie O's and Casita Cerveceria Casita. Where is the full name? Let's just call them Casita Cerveceria. And this is their Carrots and Sticks. This is they call it Belgian Strong Ale. I think the base was inspired by quads and triple. I was thinking, whoa, it's sold out in days, the saison? Interesting. They had, I think it's like they got like variants of Love Buzz and Bitter Monk and loads of stuff from Anchorage. And Anchorage, at least where I'm based, when they came out in big bottles, the beers were sitting on shelves for so long because they're so pricey. Now the price is a little bit smaller, and a bottle you can drink on your own because it's a 375 milliliter bottle, I think. Yeah, this is easy to drink on your own. I fucking love that. Actually, thinking of it, I should have maybe gotten the others because they would have been fun to revisit too, but I have, as I said, over 40 beers to unbox. So, okay, sorry for talking so much. It's going to be a long video, guys. I hope you don't mind. I know I'm doing this during dinner time, but if not, you can pause or you can come back and watch this later. But yeah, this is like Belgian-inspired beer brewed with walnuts, spices, like carrot cake spices, lemon zest and raisins, and then it's fermented with carrot puree and conditioned on vanilla beans and aged in bourbon barrels. But it's a Belgian beer. That sounds crazy, but fun. So, and then we got some beer from, I think it's Oregon. And I've never tried anything from these guys, but Brett was like, let's get that because he would like to try it, and he heard it was great. So this is from Pfrium. It's got like a Pfrium. I don't know how to say it. And they do like sours and stuff. And this is their Oat Boyn from 2019. Barrel aged for 2 years. Crap. The aromas of Cabernet, fig and cherry. That sounds pretty good. It'll be fun to try. I haven't had like Oat Boyn and the kind of Flemish style sour beers in ages. Then we got some Prairie. I talked about that before. New cat was like pints for prostates. Oh, that's cool. Probably something about prostate cancer, like a good cause. See if that camera will focus. But I believe these guys are from Oklahoma. I can't find out, but this is screenshot. Hazelnut Coffee Imperial Stout. Sounds great. We got more from these guys in the Beerdome box too, so that will be fun. And we got some cans. This one sounded really cool. Birgit Holland, hello from the Netherlands. Hello, dude. Hope you're doing well. We got a box from your country filled with beer. From I think pretty much anywhere else than the Netherlands. I don't think there's any Dutch beer in the box this time from Beerdome. Yeah, white mocha from the brewery. White chocolate variant. White chocolate is their famous. Hi from Sweden. Thumbs up to Beerdome. Hi, Remy. Remy, I take it it's Birgit Holland. I'm sorry, dude. I'm so bad with names. But this is the brewery's white mocha. As I said, this is a variant on white chocolate. It's bourbon barrel aged wheat wine with cocoa nibs, vanilla beans, and then the different thing is the coffee edition. 14.4%, and yeah, bourbon barrels. Remy equals Birgit Holland. That's good to know. Het Heulige, I guess that means hi. I imagine. I don't speak Dutch, so that'll be fun because I remember really enjoying white chocolate, but I'm not being completely blown away. But it's nice to get. I'm really getting back into like the really malty stuff, like wheat wines and barley wines and stuff like that. And I got this one just because I love cinnamon and like cinnamon apple pie, cinnamon pear pie, and this is Evil Twins cinnamon baked pear sour. I just read that it was a sour, but it's an IPA as well. It was canned quite well. Well, it's kind of difficult to see, but it's a sour IPA, so I guess it will hold up a bit. But it's a sour IPA, 7% with brown sugar, pear, and cinnamon. That sounds very interesting. And then something that I had a hard time seeing anything off on Beerdome, unfortunately, was lagers. I really wanted some good craft lager. I've become a huge fan of lager. So we got some on Beergium. And this is from Alvarado Street. They got a good selection of Alvarado Street. It's crazy. They get a lot of, like, Beergium get loads of, like, California beer from loads of different newer up-and-coming California breweries. And also more well-established ones like Alvarado. They make some great stuff. Some of the stuff they brought at NBCC last year was fantastic. But this is their Cherish the Day American Light Lager, it says, or American Lager. This reminds me of those weird ass T-shirts you can get from the mountain, like the label. So there's like an adjunct lager. I believe it's made with like rice and everything, but people are saying it's really good. So let's give it a go. I mean, it can't be as bad as a Budweiser. And then we got from a brewery in San Diego, and I think this is the last beer from Beergium. Yeah, the rest is just packaging materials. But this is from a San Diego brewery called Burning Beard. Never heard of these guys. Quite new to me. Or the San Diego County. They're based in El Cajon. El Cajon. I don't know how to pronounce that. But this is their Normcore, which is a Czech Pilsner. And I saw some of my beer geek friends on Untappd who live in San Diego saying this is like one of the best lagers at the moment in San Diego, like craft lagers. So I'm really looking forward to that, even though I'm a bit more into the German lagers or Pilsners than the Czech ones. But I just love me well-brewed Pilsner nowadays. It's fantastic. So that was Beergium. Thanks a ton to Beergium for the beers. This was a great selection. And now comes to the mother load, the payload. The one from Beerdome is insane because Beerdome stocked up for me a few limited releases they got in the last few months to save for ordering for one big box, so I wouldn't have to do like numerous crazy orders. And I'm just gonna take stuff out from here, and we'll figure out what it is. I think we've ordered like 30 beers, 32 beers, Brett and I, when we made this order. So I don't remember like half of it. Oh yeah, we got a classic to revisit here, and I see I need a knife because these are very well wrapped. Maybe I should have unwrapped them beforehand. Oh well. Like this just came. I just got home from work. This was here. I was like, oh yes. Like a kid on Christmas morning, waiting for his present. It's always fucking fun unboxing beer. Hi, greetings from PL. I take it Poland. Whizquick. Hello there. I talked about classic beer. This certainly is classic. I'm so looking forward to revisit this. I haven't had this in years. This is Founders Imperial Stout. I remember this as being like a benchmark Imperial Stout. Like, fucking fantastic. And I think a lot of you guys have had this back in the day. It's from last year, and I'm very glad to see this getting a comeback. But unfortunately, the previous vintage of CBS, yeah, Canadian Breakfast Stout instead of KBS, was the last vintage they're going to do for a while. And I have a bottle from last year's. I don't have a bottle from 2018. I don't have one from 19, but I should have gotten enough to do a whole set of all the small bottle variants. But we do not. So, but yeah, this will be really fun to try. If you go back on my channel, you can find like really like a review. I think it's like 2010 or 11. Super long hair, no beard, looking like a little kid, like 19. It's fucking hilarious. So it's really fun, and it's fun to revisit these beers because I've also been. I think I'll do some revisiting on like Samuel Smiths and Fullers and some like classic stuff. Because when I got into beer, the classic stuff really like I fucking loved it. I loved all the fucking like just classic British beers, and I really thought about revisiting it because not like a couple months ago I revisited the Samuel Smiths, and even though it's old school as fuck, it fucking holds up. Their oatmeal stout is exceptional. Same goes with their Taddy Porter and their Nut Brown Ale. And it's one of those still independent British breweries that are doing very high class traditional stuff. It's funny how you go like you come full circle. You go back to the traditional stuff a little bit. It's the same thing I've had happen with lagers. I've just gone nuts with lagers as of late. It's fucking weird, but it's also fun. But I, of course, also still love to try the crazy stuff. So, and this is, and we just talked about classic beer and all that, and then I pull out a beer from Omnipollo. Not classic and traditional at all, unless it's like some of their collabs, like, well, they do some, but not all of them. Wow, we're almost at 20 viewers now. That's awesome. Hello, everyone. This is, as I said, from Omnipollo, and this is Mess. This is a no-bake carrot cake Imperial Stout, whatever that means. So this is like a carrot cake inspired Imperial Stout brewed at the moment. So we got a couple Omnipollo beers to try, and I got a few comments before I pick the next beer. Let's just see if I can see it. Let's see. Oh, founders love it. Yes, they make great stuff. Word up, Pete. Viking Beard Circer. Hello, dude. I really would love to go back and revisit some beers I drank in the beginning. Some are a little hard to track down, though, sadly. Yeah, especially because of like import deals and stuff. There's loads of beer from American breweries we don't get in Denmark anymore, like Flying Dog and what else? Firestone Walker. Even though I traded for a lot of the stuff, or it was when I visited the States. I'd love to revisit some of that stuff as well, but there's a ton of old stuff that could be fun to revisit. I've had the Imperial Stout from Founders last weekend for the first time. It was so great to hear, especially since it's the first time you had it, because it's very old school compared to a lot of newer beers. Beer Geek Holland says, OG beer reviewer. Yes, I've been doing this for 10 years now. This is the 10th year of the Master of Puppets. It's fucking crazy. And I have a very fucking cool announcement coming as soon as I get the deals sorted for the 10th anniversary. You will see my face plastered around some places, or maybe not my face, that'd be weird, but we'll get into that in a different video. For me, Founders Imperial Stout, 4.4 out of 5. Wow, that's going to be great. Victory Prima Pills. Yes, Viking. Vikinger Beard Circer. That I remember as being fantastic, too. We haven't seen Victory beers here in fucking years. And it means that you found Beerdome through me, and you got 20... beers on your first order. Wow, yeah, that's awesome. I mean, the prices on Beerdome are freaking great. And then the selection is exceptional too. Of course, they have some really expensive stuff, some of the imports. But some of those imports are, they are just really expensive. That's just how it is. Like, hype. That's just how it is. Supply and demand and shit. Respect, dude. Thanks a ton. Respect to you too, Beer Geek Holland. Down in my coffee. Move on to the next beer. So, Mess. Carrot cake Imperial Stout. This is one of the big guys. Oh, I'm really. So this is also going to be a small walk down memory lane which will be fucking great fun. I haven't seen this beer in Denmark since like 2000 and maybe 13, something like that, from Jester King. And this is El Cedro. That fucking label has to be one of the best labels in beer whatsoever. Just fucking look at that. It's focusing on my face. Can we like try and get that in focus instead? Camera, please. Focus on the label, not my face. I guess you get it. Like the glowing eyes of the cedarwood monster. This will be really fun to revisit. It's like just the epitome of what cedar is. I remember it as being like a cedar wood aged saison or something like that. That's like dry hop too. But I do not remember hops or anything. I mean, yeah, it says hoppy cedar farmhouse ale. So, but yeah, El Cedro. Maybe it's El Dorado. I don't know. This will be really fun to try again. The only reason why I bought this back in the day was because of that label. I like Jester King, but I just saw that label and I was like, I don't care what beer that is. I get it. It was quite fun. Wicked Weed. Yeah, I mean, I remember them too. Shame. I mean, ever since they got bought up, we haven't seen any new things from them in Denmark. They used to ship out quite a lot, Wicked Weed, but ever since they got bought up, I think people stopped importing them. Whoever imported their stuff. I don't know how great they are. Yeah, Wicked Weed was not 750. That's true, but they're like 375 or something like that. But they had some fucking fantastic beers, but I don't know if the quality went down or whatever. The same happened with Funky Buddha. Even Funky Buddha made it over here, and they were so hyped with their pastry stouts and stuff. And I remember trying it at MBCC, and it was just like fucking great. And then they got bought up, and we never saw them in Europe again. I think that's part of it. But again, I haven't tried their stuff since, so I don't know if it got worse or whatever since they got bought up. I got a lot of beer in the box from this brewery, Nerd Brewing. I'm becoming a massive fan of Nerd Brewing. Hannes makes fantastic imperial stout, and the awesome thing about his beers is like he does pastry stouts. But what I love is that they have the body to stand against all the adjuncts, and they don't taste too fake. Most of the time, it's 100% original ingredients or real ingredients. It's not flavorings, because I've gotten a little bit sick of flavorings as of late. Because often pastry stouts have become like imperial stouts that aren't that thick and like I want my imperial stout like fucking thick and rich, like my stupid Atlas what was it called, tasting note or reference when I did the review of the Mikkeller Treibel brandy barrel aged. Like I want a beer that can just like withstand all that fucking adjunct, like really thick and rich. And I think Nerd Brewing does that, but they just are so underrated on Untappd. I don't know why, but I think they're fucking great. I think in general in Scandinavia, we underrate a lot of beers actually compared to other places in the world, especially like the US and also I guess a bit to some extent the UK, because some of the pastry stouts I had from there, they were very overrated compared to what I thought. But again, it's because I've been a bit sick of the whole just taste like flavoring. Like it just smashes your palate like with all these artificial flavors, and then you taste like nothing else really. I think it's a shame, but yeah, loads of Nerd Brewing. This is part of their break, like a new little series they did, which is pie inspired. This is a Imperial Blueberry Pie Stout, and I love like with the gravities and everything on there. Like this will be really interesting. And this, yeah, no flavorings in this. This is made with malted barley, oat, lactose, blueberries, and vanilla. Ooh. And I think this, oh no, so we got some lambic too. That's right, I forgot about that. But yeah, Nerd is making great stuff. While I unpacked it, sorry, a few comments came in when I didn't see them. 0.5. Oh, it's half liter bottles of Wicked Weed. That's right. After years of wanting to try Jester Kings, I finally had the chance at a festival here last year. It was great, but I was happy to realize some of our local stuff is just as good here in BC, Canada. Well, I don't know where Bellwoods is based in Canada. BC, I guess it's British Columbia, right? But Bellwoods, they make fantastic, like, sour funky beers. We can actually get their stuff in Denmark. One of the very few Canadian beers we can get, like brewery beers. And there's actually some Canadian beer in this box, by the way. There was more comments. Nerd Brewing for the win. Oh, what? They also got the recipes on their site. Yeah, I think it's like open source brewing. Hannes calls it, the owner and brewer. Yeah, we got some lambic too. This is from Tilkin, and this just screamed at me. You have to get this because I love blackcurrants. This is Tilkin's Eau de Cassis Tilkin. So Cassis blackcurrant. This will be really nice to try. And I have some beer coming as well. Fuck, so much beer. It's like it's in periods. There's like I don't have like I'm trying to just drink what's in the cellar for reviewing, and then a crazy release or whatever comes, and then you're flooded with beer again. What a bad problem to have. But I'm getting some Tommy Chef. This is like that's very good Dutch lambic inspired beer because it's technically not lambic because it's not from Pajottenland in Belgium. But what I've had from Tommy Chef has been great, and I have a bottle of Blancs. Well, actually, I have a set, so I have one for trade or aging as well of Blancs, and then I'm getting one bottle of, is it Flam Four? You guys from Holland must know. Flam Four. The release was like a couple days ago. Their site even crashed because so many people were trying to get it. So this is something I've been talked. I've actually tried their stuff in the past, but I've been told to try this. This is from Pyhaste in Estonia. And actually, Pyhaste, I met the guys at the Mikkeller Beer Celebration a couple of times, and they've actually, we're almost 25 viewers now. Wait. I've met them a couple times, had some chats, and they actually passed along some bottles of their first beers. I did some reviews. They're nice, but I've heard they've just improved like crazy. So we got a bottle of their Decadence Guatemalan Rum Barrel Aged, which is a rum barrel aged imperial stout. That sounds awesome. I love the use of different barrels than bourbon. So, that is fantastic. So this, it's a special edition of Decadence in Guatemalan rum barrels. I don't know much about the base. I think it might just be straight imperial stout barrels. Oh man, we got a load of comments there. I'll get to them afterwards. I'll unbox a few more lambic. I saw something about Tommy Chef. Something about a Framboise. I think I might have tried that. I tried so if you might have seen a couple videos, like super, it's like once or twice a year. I meet Dan, aka Dan the Man, from Chicago, one of my friends, fellow beer geek from Chicago. He goes to Scandinavia all the time, or not all the time, but a few times a year for beer events, MBCC being one of them. He always supplies like very special variants of Bourbon County for us to review. That's like tap only. He brings a growler, which is fucking amazing. Where was I going with this? Yeah, he introduced me to Tommy Chef because we met up in Copenhagen during MBCC. We actually randomly ran into each other at Amager Bryghus, and we got to talking. And he was like, "I want to go to," because I was coming before some of my friends, and he was like, "I want to go to the Mikkeller bar and check out the Three Floyds tap takeover." And we went together, and yeah, that's pretty cool, man. So now we get to hang out a couple times a year and drink amazing beer. So we got a Driefonteinen variant of Framboos. I was a little bit disappointed in the Framboos I had earlier this year, but this is the Framboos Oogst Blend 74, and I think this is like one of the special wood versions because it's got like the wood thing there on the side. But it's interesting, like they're really pumping out stuff at Driefonteinen now. It's crazy. Like Framboos being out a few times, throughout the year and stuff. Back in the day, that was unheard of. The fact that I could get Framboos, I think it was in 2012, we had like 5 bottles of the original Framboos. I remember trading for beer and Blåbær. We could get anything we wanted, like anything. It was fucking great times. But right now, trading with lambic, it's getting harder unless you know people, because a lot of it, especially Driefonteinen, it also comes over to the States, and there's also small releases of Cantillon and stuff, and then a lot of people have connections to get it, and a lot of times people are also not too keen on the overseas shipping. But I still try and land like a couple of trades every year. to get some of the good, crazy stuff from the States. And speaking of good, crazy stuff from the States, this should be, apparently from a lot of people that I know and follow online and know in person, this is super underrated, this brewery, or at least this beer. This is from the Ale Apothecary, which do lambic-inspired beer as well, spontaneous blended beer. And this one is called Sahali, mixed fermentation wild ale, or mixed fermentation ale, brewed with honey and aged in wine barrels. And this is supposed to be like crazy complex. They're from the States, but whereabouts? I do not know. It's almost 10%. See, and this is from 2018. They're from Oregon, Bend, Oregon. One of the beer capitals of the States, Oregon. So, yeah, that would be really fun to try. It was also Brett who talked me into getting that one. That's good he did, because otherwise I would have a box with only like stouts and bottle wine. I ended up just going nuts with that. It's also funny, I never buy IPAs anymore. Like, I used to buy IPAs all the time, and like getting the new IPAs, the new IPAs, the new IPAs. And I never fucking like buy IPAs anymore. When I buy beers, it's like for sessioning. If it's not for sharing and reviewing on YouTube, it's like lagers. It's super weird, like different kinds of lagers. Let's see. So, we got some more nerd brewing. Fuck, so many comments. I'm sorry for not responding right now. I'm just kind of want to browse through the beers because we're almost like halfway. Almost. And then we'll get to the comments. But this is Nerd Brewing Implements. I've reviewed both of the old implements. This is the newest one, which is with tonka beans and vanilla. So this is an Imperial Chocolate Truffle Stout with tonka beans and vanilla. Sounds pretty fucking dope to me. And again, I fucking love nerd brewing. If you're, I don't think you can get any of it in the States, but you know, if you're in Europe, it's must check out. Some of the best Swedish stout, in my opinion. I'm looking forward to the day that Hannes will start doing like actual barrel aged beer and not just oak aged, where he puts it in barrels. So, but I think it's tiny. His brewery. I think it's kind of like, it's not homebrew anymore, but I think it's not that big. Kind of like Emperor's Brewery in the UK. Like, it's tiny. It's like pretty much a homebrewing project gone commercial. This one is probably the one from Nerd I'm most excited about. This is the Break Apple Pie Edition. I fucking love apple pie. I'm not a big dessert guy. I'm more into savory foods and like main courses and whatnot. But one of my all-time fucking favorite pies in the world is just a classic apple pie with cinnamon. I mean, it's apple or apple pear. It's just fantastic in my mind. And this is inspired by that. So this is an Imperial apple pie stout brewed with apple, cinnamon, and vanilla. Ooh, this will be really fun. I really hope the apple comes through too. I mean, I think those two breaks from the pie inspired, because like in pastry, pie is like some of my favorite pastry for some reason. So I'm really excited about that. And then we got this bad boy. This was not a cheap beer, but we're gonna try and do a fun battle beers with this. So this is also from Jester King. And then I said, not cheap, you probably guessed it, it's from their Spun series. And it's not cheap because it's a 750. This is Spun number 2, the second Spun they did, which is their series of lambic-inspired beer. This is from 2017, blended in on the 31st of January 2017. So what we're going to try and do is hunt down lambic with own brewed wort or fermented beer, because a lot of times some lambic makers, or some lambic is just blends from different lambic makers. It would be optimal to get I can't remember when it was they released. Was it 15? I think they released the first Amanda Gaston lambics from Driefonteinen. It would be amazing to get like something like that, because I know it's going to be great as well. From 2017, so they're the same age, but it's also from house-made wort and not blended from different beer makers or lambic makers, wort or beer or whatever. So this will be really fun. Not an expensive or cheap beer to get, but yeah, blend of 2014, 15, and 16, 100% spontaneous fermented beer inspired by Belgian lambic. So it will be really fun because I think some of the spun I've had has been some of the closest to like lambic at all. So more stuff. Yeah. So I talked about Canadian beer. This is the only Canadian beer I've had. This quite a few years ago, and I reviewed like one beer from this brewery. But this is from Flying Monkey. Some of you guys might know this. It's been in Europe a couple of times. I think I reviewed their Acadia, which is like a winter ale with maple syrup. But this is their famous chocolate manifesto, which is a triple chocolate milk stout and 10%. With forest garden shade grown coconut, roasted whole cocoa powder, and also chocolate malt to get, chocolatey flavors. Holy shit, there's loads of info on here. Let's just try and see how the bottle looks. I'm quite curious. People say it's like so chocolatey. Like one of the most chocolatey beers I have a review coming up soon was the TMOH one, or I can't pronounce it. It was from Barreled Souls. That beer was bourbon barrel aged and just made with loads of chocolate and chipotle smoked chili. No, smoked. What was it? Habaneros? Something like that. It was fucking great. Fucking great. But yeah, there we go. Chocolate Manifesto. I'm really looking forward to try this. I've had it once, and it's fucking years ago. I think it was one of my Swedish friends and subscribers who shared this with me. I think it was Bob when he was here visiting. But yeah, it'll be interesting to try that one, to say the least. Now we've got some cans. Also, just to have some beer that's not like 10%. More Swedish beer. This is from Wizard, which is a collaborative brewery between Morgendagens and now Duck Pond Brewing Company. They used to be called Microphone Brewing. They changed the name to Duck Pond Brewing to have more of an international appeal. And they have a collaboration project called Wizard Brewing. They make mostly sours. I think they've done some stouts and whatnot, but what the first like Puppet Head I had was fucking great. But this one is Bats. This is also like a Berliner Weisse. This is 4.5% brewed with mango, pineapple, passion fruit, and apricots. Sounds like my jam. I love the stone fruit and the tropical fruit. And then we'll save this one for later because there's some different variations of that beer. Yeah, okay, nice. That was someone who talked about the Puppet Head stuff. He tried all 3 beers. I just quickly saw it before it disappeared, and they were great. I've had Puppet Head, Balloon Gramophone or whatever, and then Bats, I think, is the last one I need to try or review. Then we got a variant of Founders Sumatra Mountain Brown, and this is their Frangelic Mountain Brown. Really looking forward to this one because I think Sumatra Mountain Brown is great. Again, I'm not usually a fan of brown ales, but these imperial ones with coffee and stuff like that can be really good. So this is basically that beer, but with hazelnut too. So it's like a hazelnut coffee thing. Sounds great. And again, Founders, I don't know. I've been revisiting Founders a bit again. I actually think they produce some pretty nice beers. It's not like mind-blowing crazy, but I was so pleasantly surprised when I had the what was it called? The Agave, Mas Agave. Let's see here. Hacking peanuts everywhere. We're almost to the end, guys. More. This is more Omnipollo. And this is also more stout. Like the fun thing is, like I said, we should have some light stuff in between, but most of the stuff in these boxes are like massive stouts. So this is the Omnipollo Magnapoli. I wonder if that's a tribute to Magnus who works for them. Magnus. It's called the Nightcap Snack Apple Pie Strawberry Cup Imperial Stout. I first read it as like a strawberry Imperial Stout. Okay, sounds like that's gonna be a bit crazy too. And this is also made at Demonen. I feel like a lot of the Demonen brewed Omnipollo stouts are definitely the best when they do them there. And then we got another 750, I think. Yes, we do. And this was also per Brett's request. And this is another, like, Brett really loves wild ale and sours. And I like it too, but he just loves it, like, much more than I do. I still think they're really, really good beers, but it's like if I had the choice between like a wild ale or sour to maybe a, like Imperial Stout, barley wine, whatever. I pick those, but I think sometimes he would pick these. Even if I had to go for drinkability, I think I'd rather drink a lager than a sour, or a lambic, or not, maybe not a lambic. I don't know, but these spontaneous beers and whatnot, saisons. I think I'd pick a lager. I think that's even more drinkable than some of those because it doesn't have the sourness. Even though I love it, but like for me, if I drink too many sours, I get the sour belly. Like I couldn't imagine. Like Mikkeller just hosted, I had to work, and I would like to go, but I think for me it would be too much in the long run to go to their sour beer celebration. They did like a version of beer celebration, Mikkeller beer celebration, just with only sour beers. I think it would be too much for me in the long run. My belly would go nuts, like because of all the fucking acid. If you've been to a share and you've had loads of sour, you might know what I want. I think I saw a comment about Brett has expensive taste. Yes. This is from Tired Hands. And this is Tired Hands Eurison, a oak fermented saison. So there we go. It doesn't say much else. I can't remember. Again, it's one of the beers Brett requested, so we got it in there. But I think it's like a straight saison, just an oak barrel. But again, it's also not a cheap bottle of beer. But let's see, next one, Lies. There we go. Oh, this one is so awesome that they got this one. Because years ago, when I reviewed, or years ago, is it like a year or two ago maybe, I reviewed Prairie Paradise, their coconut imperial stout. I was like, fuck, this is amazing. And I wish I could try the barrel-aged versions. Then the bourbon version came to Denmark, and I was like, fuck yes, let's get it. We got it. It was fucking amazing. And then we got this one. I talked about I'd love to try the rum barrel-aged version. And that finally made it to Europe. So this is Pirate Paradise. So this is rum barrel-aged Prairie artisan ales. Paradise. So big coconut vanilla beer with rum barrel aging. I'm really looking forward to be trying this one because I fucking love the other ones in that series. And I think they do like crazy variants on those beers at the brewery too. And more, this is more nerd brewing. Oh shit, there's so much beer. Let's see here. So yeah, I think I saw a comment about something about pastry stout, artificial, but I didn't see anything else on me. But we'll get back to that once I'm done. Not a lot of beer left, but Nerd Brewing's Branch. This is a pecan wood aged imperial pecan pie stout. So I guess it's aged on pecan wood, and possibly also made with So aged on so not pecan wood, but pecans. It says it's got water, barley malt, oats, hops, yeast, sugar, pecan aroma, and roasted pecan nuts. And to be honest, I talked about natural flavors. There is for me like the artificial stuff can get too much, but I figured what I've learned, also brewing myself, if you have the real ingredients and use a smaller amount of flavoring, you get like this really intense. It's almost like it boosts the natural flavor with having that slight cakey pastry thing without it being like too crazy artificial. And again, like the beer needs to be substantially like thick and rich to withstand all that stuff, all that crazy flavoring. Let's see, and then we got some more stuff from Barreled Souls, because that Imperial Stout, and that's also Brett's request, but that Imperial Stout, no, this is not Barrel Souls. No, this is the brewery in Savannah, Georgia, I think, that really surprised us with their, Two Tides. It really surprised us with their, like, lambic-inspired beer. It was fucking great. Love that label. It's called, Two Tides. This is called Pool Snacks. This is an oak-fermented wild sour ale with raspberries. Fucking love that. Raspberries in the pool. That's awesome. So, yeah. That's right. I thought it was Barrel Souls, but it wasn't. And we got another 750 here. This will be interesting. So this is from Mikkeller Bauhaus. It basically means Mikkeller backyard, the Mikkeller backyard, which is a cool name because it's pretty much very close to the Mikkeller offices, and it's kind of on the outskirts, and they make like wild funky beers with things, that's growing in Denmark, so growing in your garden. I think it's a cool concept. But this is a 750 of their Demeter's Apricot Blend #1. Oh, nice. Seriously, I don't understand why these guys are not more hyped, because I think they're fantastic. And like, I think the Bauhaus beers are definitely better than the sours that Mikkel's done like anywhere else. Like, well, it's mostly been Depoif, and yeah, I think it's pretty much that actually. If it's not been in collabs, but it's fucking miles ahead. It's so good, and they've really upped like production now with more fooders and things. So it'll be fun to see what they're gonna play around with. Fuck man, there's beer here for like a year. So yeah, oh, this one's been damaged, but still intact. Ooh, because this one I'm looking forward to. This is a collab with a brewery I've become, wow, almost 30 viewers now. It's fucking amazing. I don't think I've ever been up on that many viewers on a live stream. But this is a collab between Evil Twin Brewing New York City and Horus. Horus, oh man, I fucking love their stuff. This is Even More Beans. And this is an Imperial Stout brewed with barrel-aged coffee and vanilla. So I wonder, since it's called Even More Beans, I'm wondering if it's probably a mix-up of Even More Jesus, like the Evil Twin recipe, and then one of Kyle's stouts. Since it's beans, I guess it might be a Ghost Hawk, like Ghost Hawk's beans or something like that, because that's like Imperial Stout with barrel-aged coffee, and then there's like beans, which is vanilla. There's the one grass, which is hazelnuts and whatnot. That will be really fun to try. I think they did like a barrel-aged version as well, but that of course didn't come to Europe. I mean, a lot of the Evil Twin stuff makes it over here, but that one didn't. So this is a set actually, and this is also Horus. And I think this is the first ever collaboration Horus has done outside of the States, or at least in Europe. Kyle has been at MDCC a couple times now. I don't think, last year he wasn't there himself. And it's a set, so we're trying to find the other one. No, last year he wasn't there himself. And I'm not sure if he was the year before either, because I didn't know much about Horus, so I didn't know who he was or the brewery or anything. Like the first time Horus was in Copenhagen, they were very under the radar, and now they just, have blown up. Everyone goes nuts for Horus, even though like their beers are not barrel aged, but they're just so fucking great. But this is a collab with Sorry Brewing and Horus. It's brewed at Sorry, so it's technically Sorry Brewing beer made in collaboration with Horus. This is actually amazing artwork, and I believe it's Imperial Stout, right? It's not barley wine. Seriously, and they're based in Tallinn, Estonia. I believe they were originally Finnish, but decided to open up the brewery in Estonia because the liquor and alcohol laws were much easier there. That's what we got. So they see, Imperial Stout. So we got the Sorry Brewing Harrier's Dive, one aged in wild turkey bourbon barrels, and the other one in tawny port wine barrels. Fucking amazing looking artwork. I love like the kind of glowy feel there. This will be really fun to try. I haven't had a Sorry beer in a long time. They actually sent me some of their first releases. And again, it's one of those, they sent me some of their first releases. They're decent, but I've been told that they've just upped their game massively. So Harrier's Dive here is in a strong and majestic Imperial Stout with deep flavors of dark and milk chocolate infused with a okay. So I actually don't think they're made with adjuncts. I think it's like straight Imperial Stout that's then barrel aged. And I think these also sold out really quickly. Why? Because it says Horus on the bottle too. That's Horus is getting a lot of traction, but arguably very understandable because fantastic beer. Let's see, where did I put the other one? I think this is the last beer from Nerd Brewing, and then we just have a tiny amount of beer to go through left. Like the last box I ordered from Beerdome was like 4 or 5 months ago now, I think. And Brett and I are still not done drinking the last beers and meads and whatnot. There's so much stuff. So, Nerd Brewing. This one will be really fun because I think this was like just released when they got it. It's not even made it to Denmark yet, but this is their, and one of the first beers of 2020 maybe, but this is their Continue 5th anniversary Imperial Stout. So I didn't know that they've been going for 5 years, but I guess in total, like also as a homebrewing project. But this is an Imperial Stout brewed with toasted coconut and cinnamon. 13%. Wow. Original gravity of 1.151. Holy shit. This might be one of the highest original gravities he's done. I think so. I mean, if you look at the others here, they're not that high. Yeah, nope. That is fucking crazy. Okay, the apple pie one is close, but it's crazy high gravity. But yeah, this will be fun to see if, yeah, what is made. Oats, coconut, cinnamon. Yeah, no flavorings in this one. And then another big ass bottle. And then we got the last 3 beers after that, I believe. I'll just double check. Because there's a lot of beer here. It's crazy. We even got some Treehouse coming to try soon as well. Too much beer. Too much beer. Here we go. This is, wow, that's a really nice looking bottle. So this is from Brick City Brewing Company. Never heard of these guys. Very new to me. But this is one Brent and I agreed on. We had to try because it's smoked. And both him and I like the smoked stouts. I think he's not too keen on the smoky, like the Rauchbier, which I fucking adore. But you don't see smoked stouts too often because a lot of people like it's hit and miss with smoked beer. But this is Calavera from Brick City. Limited one-off Imperial Stout. They were based in New Jersey, Little Ferry, New Jersey, in the States. 10% Imperial Stout brewed with coconuts, cinnamon, vanilla beans, and chili peppers. And I think it's probably smoky chili peppers, but Brett talked about smoked malt too. And then it's aged in mezcal barrels. So this is like truly authentically Mexican. That's pretty cool. Like if you talk about the Mexican inspired Imperial Stout. And I hope it's a smoky mezcal, because sometimes mezcal is smoky, which is great. So, man, what a haul. Holy shit. That's crazy. Let's just have a look. Was that all? Yeah, I think so. I think I saw a comment about someone saying poor liver. Yeah. This is going to last a long time. I'm not going to drink all this shit on my own. Are you crazy? And again, I've actually said that before. Oh, you can see what that is. Let's put it in there. I've said that before. Keep it a surprise, as long as I can. I've said it before, it's not all the time we finish all the beers we drink. Sometimes I end up getting dumped. And then the last experience was actually a huge fucking shame, but that was more or less because we're just really full. The last hike trip we did, I've posted a few reviews of it so far already, like the barrel-aged brandy, tableau, and whatnot. That share, we actually ended up, most of us, all of us, not finishing a bottle of Cycle's, the maple stout they did for the road trip series, which was anything but breakfast. It was fucking great and super maple forward, but I couldn't finish our glass because we were so full of food and we had so many beers, and it's a bit of a shame. But that's sometimes how it goes. Okay, so we got a trio here. You can probably kind of see it by the caps. If I hold it up like this. Uh-oh! Bourbon County! Fuck, man. I love this beer so much. And this is going to be so fun because I've never done this. I've never done like a vertical tasting of Bourbon County. But we got a bottle of the... Let's see if it's the right order. It's totally not. So we do it like this. 2017, 2018, and 2019 vintages of Bourbon County. I actually already had, I think, all of them. I'm not sure if I reviewed all of them, but the 19 I had as kind of like a birthday surprise from Michael, just Michael, where he brought this, but he wouldn't tell me what it was for a little share. And he comes out with an ice cream float. He's like, here, drink this. It's like, oh, nice. It's like, what the fuck? Is this a Bourbon County ice cream float? And he's like, yep. It was fucking great. So, fuck, look at that. Those are crazy fucking beer males. So much fucking beer. Beerdome. Holy shit. Again, this is why you need to look at those shops. This is a lot of money with a beer though, but They have great selections. It's just insane. So check them out, guys. Link for both of their shops will be in the bottom of this when this has been posted officially, and I can put a description on. But we got shit tons of comments that I should go through before we go into the Japan information. Whoa. Okay, I think this is where we made it to. So, Nerd Brewing for the win. Yeah, there's the recipes. Luang, hello, Luang. Recently revisited Great Divide Yeti. Tasted like an overhopped black IPA and alcohol. It was so disappointing. Oh, wow. That's such a shame. I don't remember that as being hoppy. And the 25th or whatever anniversary we had wasn't overtly hoppy. And we got Bellwoods is in Ontario. Okay. But at least it's in Canada. And yes, open source. That's what Nerd Brewing is. Beauty Collins says, Tommy Chef is awesome. And I think so. Hop Scene. Fuck shit. Rob. Hello, Rob. Martin W. Tommy Chef is delicious. Get the framboise truffe if you can. That is absolutely lovely. Or some treehouse. Oh, Martin, that's you. Oh, Martin is the treehouse hookup. I think that's him. I can't remember his last name, but we have some treehouse coming courtesy of a guy called Martin, who we got it through. The same with the other half I've been reviewing, which is fucking awesome. You know, I think what are we getting? I think we're getting double ganger, not double, but double, and then also Julius. Never tried I tried double ganger, like the double dry hop version of double ganger or whatever at Treehouse, straight at the source when I was there in 2018, which was fucking amazing. Review some classic Belgian beer or Czech beer. See, that would be fun. But the thing is, the only Czech beer I get here locally, I've seen around, is is it Kotslak and or Kill, and they're fucking old, the bottles, like they're like 7 months old, and lagers are so much better fresh. So maybe I should try and look up like a web shop or something that sells some Czech beer. That could be interesting. The Belgian stuff will be much easier to revisit because we get a lot of that. Niklas, I wonder if NBCC will be canceled this year. I hope not. Why the fuck would it be canceled? If you're thinking if it's going to be canceled because of the coronavirus, I really don't hope so. That would be a fucking disaster. I mean, I think also the coronavirus it's like, from what I've read online, it's really bad for you. It's the death toll right now is higher in percentages than like the flu. But it's a very small amount of people that's been infected, and the people who's died are people who's died because they're either already weak or they're like old, and it's terrible that the people die, of course. But I think the problem is right now this is like the biggest story, and all media news outlets are just like spreading so much fear. I know I think it turned into a pandemic pretty much, but a lot of countries are really doing a great job in trying to not have it spread further. But my biggest beef with it is like the media is just fucking fear mongering like crazy. So many people are just going nuts online with this thing, and just like, it's even my mom, she talked about like, are you really sure you want to go to Japan in a month? Do you think it's safe? And just like, the state, if you go on the state's website, they will tell you if you cannot go because it's too dangerous. Right now, you can go to Japan. I think the only country right now, you can even go to China again now. The only thing that's blacklisted is the Hubei, the province where it came from, the virus, and then also northern Italy because they had a huge spread of the disease. So hopefully, no, MVCC will not be canceled. Dude, I've been wanting to see you review Ale Apothecary. We get them here, but they're 50 plus a pop. Yeah, this was just around the same price, dude. So we'll see if it's worth it. Best Swedish stout brewer, nerd, yeah. Seek out Don Soko Big Foam or Don Soko Northern Heller. Super nice lagers from the UK. I think Mikko Webshop might have had those, or still have them. I had spun at that festival. Great, but didn't blow my mind. Yeah, it depends on which one you've had. I think some of the fruited ones, a couple of them didn't blow my mind either. Michael says the Flying Monkeys is a crazy Kokyo beer. Kokyo, if you don't know, is a Danish milk chocolate drink, and it's like the best fucking milk chocolate drink you can ever get. If you compare that to like whatever, I don't think I've ever had a milk chocolate drink anywhere in the world that's been to the same level as Danish Kokyo. It is so thick and rich, and Very bad for you, but utterly delicious. Chocolate Manifesto is a real chocolate bomb. It's awesome. Manifesto is not good for me. Oh, too bad. Whoa, 30 viewers. There we go. Fuck, that's fucking awesome. Even though this is such a long stream. Holy crap. Okay, too artificial. That's interesting, though, how the beer tastes artificial when it's actually made with cocoa nibs. I think it's also because the flavor of cocoa nib is quite different from the flavor of eating actual chocolate. It was, what was it? It was cocoa nibs and cocoa powder and chocolate malt to give the chocolate flavor in it. So, what, they even got the rate beer score on the box? I don't think I've ever seen that on a beer label, a rate beer score. So it depends on the bottle. I didn't find it artificial. Wait, what? Oh, okay. I tried all 3 of that series of sours. They're all great. Yeah, the wizard, they are. Queen of ABV has an expensive taste. Brett got himself into that. Queen of ABV. What the hell? There was so many. He has had so many stupid nicknames as of late. Other than Bread of Animaces. Queen of ABV. What's the other one? I can't remember. I tried the Faxe IP. Faxe? What? That must not have been made. That's Saverio Vascotto. I don't know where you're from, but that Faxe IPA must have been made for your market, because Faxe in Denmark is owned by Royal Unibrew and the massive Danish conglomerate macro company, and they're really just faking it with the craft thing still, even though actually I've just given this company so much beef. Like, I've shat on this company so much and saying they're not craft, and I've just tried to, like, speak my mind about it. Not to be a dick either, but I just hated it was false marketing. But I actually talked to the main marketing guy at a beer festival last year, and he told me I was right. They should say where it comes from. So now it says Royal Unibrew on the bottles, on the new bottles. That is fucking amazing. I love that. I feel that's a pretty good achievement. And he told me for fun that they were going to do a collab with all the haters. So if I wanted to, it was an open invitation to come and brew a hater collab beer. That's fucking hilarious. But yeah, I don't really touch this stuff. It's made for a different market. It's made for the supermarket. It's brewed to your price. It's not for me. But you tried the Faxe IPA and you said just for fun, not so bad. If I've recently tried some macro Danish beer that tried to imitate craft beer, and what's your opinion about it? Well, basically what I said, I hate that they imitate it. I don't mind that they make these different supermarket beers. It's not for me. They can go ahead and do it. What I hate is that it's the wolf in sheep's clothing's approach, where they say, like, this brand that we launched is called something Brewing Co. Even though they built up a brewery, but it's owned by a big company, it should state somewhere on the bottle that it's, from a big brewery. I don't like that too much. And then the fun thing is, so Carlsberg, I saw that on, as some of you know, I work as a brewer, and I saw, like, on a listing for jobs. They're looking for craft brewers to relaunch the whole Jacobsen beer thing. So Jacobsen is their, like, a different project Carlsberg does, where they've done, like, I don't know if I'd say specifically very craft brew like, but they've done, like, a lot of traditional brewed stuff, and some of them have been decent. But now they're trying to do some more craft-like stuff. It seems, according to these applications they put out for brewers, where they want to make more craft-like beers. And I really don't hope they're going to go the same route. I mean, I think they're changing the name to Jacobsen Craft Beer. And everyone who knows just a little bit about craft beer knows Jacobsen, or knows that it's Carlsberg. I even think it still says it in the logo. So I hope they're not going to go down that route. That would be terrible. But again, it's also, people know the brand already. I think they're just kind of trying to rebrand it, because they did, like, a sour and stuff, which is Carlsberg. It's pretty interesting. As long as, it's, again, I don't mind when they still state, okay, we're macro, we're Carlsberg. When they don't try and be a wolf in sheep's clothing, I don't mind it too much. I'm going to skip on to the next question, though, because I feel I can talk about this for a long time. And we were going for over an hour now. It says, that's funny. One of my beer friends swears that the Monen-brewed Omnipod stouts are much worse, more inconsistent than the ones brewed elsewhere. Actually, I think to some extent lately that's been a little bit the case, and Dugas in Sweden has been some of the best. But we'll see with these new ones. Yeah, Fabio, Omnipod is real artificial as fuck. I know, but often at times I feel like, at least in the past, I actually haven't drunk Omnipollo stouts in a while, except the new version of Noah, the barrel aged one. I felt like those beers could hold up, like the base beer could hold up to the adjunct. Like the bourbon Noah was thick and smooth and silky and creamy, not like heavy, like crazy heavy, but it worked. Poor liver, yes. As I said, these are being shared, maybe for 3 shares. Michael says, time for new beer for me. Toil House Pale Ale, I think from New Brew from Toil City. So that's really cool. Toil bought an old ketchup factory in Denmark called Bouvet is the brand. And this old ketchup factory they turned into a huge Toil City project, which is a whole crazy big brewery hub. And right now Toil is brewing there, and a cider company is making the cider there. They're called the Eblal. And then there's also a kombucha company there, and there's a few different people involved, which is really cool. And I think part of the plan is like they wanted to take out all the production from Belgium. Most of Tour before was brewed in Belgium at the Puff, and oftentimes when you got it in Denmark, for example, some of the canned bottles were like 2.5, 3 months old, which is way too old for especially like IPA. So now they brought the production back. They even launched again this freshy package thing where like you get shipped fresh cans of like IPA as soon as it's tapped, pretty much. It's like a subscription service, which is pretty cool. But they're basically bringing the whole production back. Also because I think the capacity at the Poif in Belgium is, Mikkeller takes up a lot of that, and I think Omnipollo also still does a lot of it. I think for a while it's pretty much just Mikkeller, Omnipollo, and Toil that brewed there. Not entirely sure if on any other breweries are there now, but so they're bringing the whole production, which is great because I think some of the stuff that's been coming out from Bose as of late, for example, their brew pub has been good, but it had a quick dip where some of it I think was like a bit, it's not as good as it used to be, but it seems like it's getting on the right track now, which is awesome. But yeah, I think that new project they done out there looks really interesting. It'll be fun to see. Christopher Gmail, yo dude, yo Christopher Gmail. I wonder who it is. Maybe it's Chris. I don't know. My friend Waldo, hi from the Netherlands. I have a Sorry Brewing this evening. We always have a Paris. Nice. I haven't heard of that. Severo asking, what is your worst beer that you had in your experience? Mine had to be the Bavaria IPL and all the special breeds of the Sales Brewery. So Sales Brewery is also, like Faxe you mentioned, is also Royal Unibrew. They own it. So the whole history of Royal Unibrew was Denmark had loads of small breweries scattered around the country. And it was getting really hard to compete against Carlsberg because Carlsberg was getting quite big. So they joined forces and launched the Jysk-Fynske Bryghuse, so the breweries of Jutland and Funen. And they came together to have, a bigger kind of fighting force against Carlsberg. It's pretty interesting because it's kind of like what has happened with Canarchy in the States, where it's like Cigar City and Oscar Blues and things like that, trying to get market shares back because the macros are taking so much, which is pretty interesting. So that's kind of how they started out. And what happened then was like they started moving production around to specific facilities, closing down facilities and whatnot. And it ended up being pretty much just another big conglomerate. I mean, they're the second biggest producer of beer in Denmark, and they own a lot of brands from around the world now as well. They're the ones that sell Heineken in Denmark, for example. They actually brew Heineken. They had a whole long period of time where they're trying to nail down rebrewing Heineken for cans in Denmark. It's pretty crazy. Again, macro beer, not something maybe so many of you care about, but they produce the Ceres stuff. Ceres was one of the breweries that produced like one of the small breweries in Denmark at one time that was producing beer and couldn't keep up with sales and everything because of the big guy Carlsberg. So they were part of this Royal Unibrew thing, or before that, the Jysk-Fynske Bryghuse. And same goes with the other one you mentioned, the Faxe. And I think they have the Faxe brewery left. They have Albani. I can't remember how many left, but there was one in Aalborg actually. If you know anything about like Danish craft beer, you might have heard of Thisted Limfjordsporter. It's a famous Baltic porter. It was one of the beers that got me into craft beer. And that beer was originally from Aalborg, my city, from a brewery called Urban, or Urban. But Urban was bought by this conglomerate thing, this Jysk-Fynske Bryghuse. It was merged with it, and they closed down production. But before production was closed down, the brewmaster back then of Thisted Brewery in the north of Denmark loved the artwork on a lot of the beers, so he bought label rights and beer rights. So he bought the rights for Limfjordsporter, took the beer home, perfected the recipe to what he thought was what he wanted, and it came out in like '89 as the beer it is today. So it's pretty cool. I think it's a very interesting Danish beer story. So it used to be from here, a completely different beer. I hope one day. I think it's going to be insanely hard, but it'd be really fun one day to try like original urban brewed Limfjordsporter. I bet it's like totally different. But worst macro experience ever, like us. That's I've had a lot of shitty macro experiences, to be honest. I don't know what the worst ever is, but like one of the worst in recent memory must have been some of the wolves in sheep's clothing from Royal Unibrew, like the all the Theodor Schützbrewing Company beers. I mean, those were but like one that was utterly disgusting or was like almost undrinkable. That must be some of the stuff in the fall beer tastings I've done over the years. But I seriously, picking one that's the worst I've ever had is really fucking hard. Actually, we could say something I could pick as the best macro beer, at least in Denmark. I think they're like really large regional. I don't think they're big enough to be completely macro, but that's from Hancock, the Hancock breweries in Skive, a city here in Jutland. Their beer called Høgerbejer is fantastic, I think. Not like amazing, but it's like, to me, it's like for what a lot of people in the beer industry, for macro beer in the States at least, they really like Miller High Life as like a session beer. It's because it actually tastes decent. For me, it's the same with Høgerbejer. It's a well-hopped lager. It's kind of like more like a well-hopped Pilsner hop with Saaz hops. And it's like not a mind-blowing beer, but if they have that at a bar and there's numerous kind of crazy beers and I just want something to session that's easygoing, I might buy that actually over some craft beer when I'm a bit like, I'm not really in the mood. Again, there's a whole thing of just getting back into lagers. And that's actually a must try. And the funny thing, Høgerbejer is, I think it's a Danish term. We have a lot of different terms for beer, like a beer you share, a beer you walk and drink, and it's pretty interesting. And I believe Høgerbejer was a beer you share on the street or something like that. That's what it means. It's something like that. Like you share it with a person. Like you have a couple of Høgerbejer. So you have a beer and he has a beer and you share it. So you have different terms for it. It's interesting. I think that was it. Don't quote me on it though, because I read up on it like a while ago, like not too long ago, about terms like Danish words for lager. Awesome beer mail. Damn. Yep. And it smells a lot like Beerdome. Do you buy beers on your own or you share the price with? Yeah, we share the price. So Brett, if I would buy all this on my own, it'd be fucking crazy. Again, we get a discount, but Brett and whoever goes into the review with me and shares the beer, we pitch in on it, everyone. That's how we get to try a lot of all these things, because we're a few guys who like to try good beer, because otherwise it'd just be way too expensive, especially because beer prices, especially in Europe, and I think just in general over the world, it's really been rising the last few years. Have you ever had Sorry Brewing Shadow Game? To be honest, I've never heard of that beer. Again, I haven't kept up with Sorry Brewing, unfortunately, so it doesn't ring a bell. Gotta go now. Bye. Bye, Ruleke. Nice to have you. Could you come to Barcelona in October for a Mass Festival? Monkish Three Sons. I mean, that would be crazy cool, but I don't even know what my itinerary or plans for October is yet. It would be cool. I think actually also in October, I'm not 100% sure, but these guys have a press event in Chicago that I might be invited to, which would be crazy. But we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. I mean, that would be a great option, but I don't, I think this year I might just be, there's 200% festivals, because I also don't want, it gets too much for all the beer, you need to think about that too. So I'm definitely in BCC. I always go there every year. And then also I really do want to go back to Bruskeveld, because I think Bruskeveld is fantastic. I just love the atmosphere. But you know what? I'll think about that Barcelona festival. It'll be cool. It sounds like a great lineup. Currently drinking Boxcar and Mills Best Bitter Cola. It's actually amazing. That's awesome to hear. That's like, I've been drinking some cask ale as of late too, if I've had just a beer like at our local English bar. We got another come to Billy's Craft Beer Fest this year. So I've heard of it, but the thing is like, I don't even know where it is, but I've heard it's great. Okay, we got some deleted messages too. Holy shit, there's a lot of messages to go through. Bring back the Lord of Malts. Your reviews, yes, from the Jakob fan club. Christian Summers. I'd love to, but the problem is Jacob lives in the fucking other side of the country now. He used to live on Greenland, and now he lives on Sealand. So it's pretty much only when I'm in Copenhagen we can meet up. He lives in Roskilde. But yeah, we should definitely meet up. You know, that's just the thing when you move to different cities and work and all the things like that. You know, things like this just happen. It just gets harder and harder to meet up and do stuff. But it would be great. I mean, I think we've done at least a couple of reviews every year the last couple of years. Any ideas on this? Amundsen pastry stouts. They're amazing. Psycho dessert in a can. So the whole dessert in a can series, I have very mixed feelings about because some of them have been really good, but some of them I feel like they've been kind of thin and fizzy and so artificial that you drink one can or share a can, and then like your palate is just so fatigued. But Cookie Monster, no, Psycho, fucking great. That was exceptional. But I think it's been a little bit up and down. The Cookie Monster and all those barrel aged beers, I actually didn't try, but I did send them out in a trade with a guy in the States. So unfortunately, I haven't had those because they're gone. This IPA is 2 weeks old from Tour City. That is fucking amazing. It's shipping it out 2 weeks old. I love that. It's so expensive to do this kind of stuff, but I fucking love that they're doing it now. Do you know the Brazilian brewery Five Elementos? I do not. They have amazing coffee stouts. Nice. Hey, Antwerpen is where Billy's Beer Fest is. Okay, and now we got to the end of the comments. Good. Not good. Feel free to comment still if you want. But no, I haven't heard of this brewery. So, something I should check out maybe. I don't think I've seen them around, but. And we got another hey, and LMB and Beer Geek says Billy's in Antwerp. So, yeah, keep flooding comments if you want. I'm going to be going through a little bit of the the trip for Japan now. Just a quick update, and then I want to get some dinner in me. I'm fucking starving. So been following you for 8 years. Weird to see you live. Well, actually, thanks a ton for following me for 8 years. That's crazy. That's a long ass time, dude. Thanks a ton. But yeah, I'm not so good at doing the live streams on YouTube. I've done them more often on Facebook and Instagram, but I should do them here because this is where most of my viewing base is located. I think hopefully this year we'll get to 10K subscribers. It will be great. We're close. I think the project that I'm doing with the 10th anniversary might help that. We will see. But that's for another video. Now let's quickly run down the Japan trip. So as I said, I'm going to Japan in a month and what is it? A month and 3 days. Oh my god, I'm so fucking stoked. Japan has been a bucket list country for me for so long. And I never did any planning or anything about going there because I've always been told like the flights are crazy. And right now I've been prepping and I just ran the numbers of what I've spent so far, which is the flights, traveling by train around like a JR pass is the name, which is like unlimited travel with bullet trains and regular trains and whatnot, not metros, but most trains in Japan. And all the stays, where one of the stays there is at a ryokan, which has got like breakfast and dinner. I spent about, was it 13,000 Danish crowns? 6,003. Yeah, like 14,000 Danish crowns, which is like about a little less than 2,000 euros. Then the rest of the money that's going to go into it is going to just be probably food. I'm just going to eat so much over there. It's going to be so fun. Yeah, so I was turning 30. It's like, what should I give myself as a 30-year present? How about doing a Japan trip? Because I researched it and found out it's not as expensive, at least the flights. I mean, it's not a cheap trip. But usually when you do these big trips, you need to save up quite a lot in advance, which I've been doing. So I'm going with Henrik, a.k.a. the General of Goethe. And we're flying out to Tokyo on the 8th of April. We're going to land in Tokyo on the 9th of April. And then we're going to be staying in Tokyo for the first bit of the trip. We're going to meet up with an OG beer tuber. We already got the day we're meeting up. We're meeting up with Yuichi Tuba or Beerichi Tuba, Winton. If you've watched BeerTube, if you watched for 8 years on YouTube, dude, NLB, in LMB, you might know him because he did BeerTube videos. He was actually the dude who coined the term BeerTube and BeerTubers. Because he was called Yuichi Tuba. It had nothing to do with YouTube. I think it might have been a pun or whatever as well, but he coined the term. I did some videos with him in 2012 when I visited San Francisco because he lived there back then. And Winston is half Japanese, and since then he's moved back to Japan, and he lives in Tokyo, southern Tokyo. So we're meeting up for a day to hang out, and he's going to show us around. We're going to eat and I guess drink some beer. We're going to have to shoot some video. It would be fun to get him on if he wants to. I don't think he still posts the odd YouTube clips, but mostly some music stuff nowadays. Because he also used to do a lot of like cool vlogging with a lot of Japanese people and stuff, like the whole Japanese YouTube community. So that will be fun. That's the only kind of YouTube person that I planned meeting with in Japan. The other person is a friend who now lives in Kyoto that I'll just outside of Kyoto. I'll go see as well. So yeah, it's awesome when you know people in the destinations you visit. So we're gonna go to Tokyo first. Tokyo will be from the 9th to the 12th of April. Then Kyoto will be from the 12th to the 16th. And Kyoto is where we do part of the stay in ryokan, which is the traditional Japanese inns. Unfortunately, not with an onsen, which is like the bathhouse, but you can still try that without having to stay there if you find a place with a good onsen. It's like it's kind of like going on a Japanese spa, if you can say, like with a hot spring. And the ryokan is the traditional inn experience where you get you have a server associated with your room, and it's going to be pretty interesting. Like you get to wear the kimonos, whatever they're called, and stuff like that. It'll be really interesting. So that's only one night though in Kyoto, because staying at those it's not that expensive, and not that cheap is what I mean. And most of the stay will be in hostels, actually, youth hostels, just to cut down cost on places to stay, because I don't really care as long as it's well reviewed and I have a bed to sleep in. I'm okay. I'd rather spend my money on experiences and food than a bed to sleep in. So 12th to 16th, we're going to be in Kyoto. Then the 16th to the 20th, we go just a little further. We go to Osaka, the belly or the kitchen of Japan, which is going to be a crazy food experience. And from there, we're going to be doing a day trip to Kobe, where we booked, as I talked about in the beginning, a table at the second highest rated Kobe beef restaurant in Kobe. And it's going to be crazy expensive. It's I think it's 18,000 to 20,000 yen per person for 180 grams of the highest grade A5 Wagyu or Kobe beef with some other different servings. It's like a set menu, which is it's going to be crazy expensive, but it's a once in a life. When am I going to go to Japan again? You never know. It's fucking do it when you're there. And it's much cheaper than getting it there than getting it here. So we're gonna do that. It's done. What's it called? Teppanyaki, I think, style, where you have a chef that cooks it for you. If we were 3 people, we could even have our own private booth, which is crazy, but we don't, because we're only 2. So I think we're gonna be set at a bar. So that's gonna happen in Kobe, and then from either Osaka or Kyoto, because we just picked those. I think this trail is called the Golden Trail or the Golden Route that we're going. We talked about taking a couple of nights in Hiroshima as well, or Hiroshima, but the problem is really hard to get that shit done, because, well, we could do it, but I didn't want to, cut down on, just taking too many locations at once. Like, okay, we do Tokyo, Kyoto, Osaka, because we're only gone for 2 weeks. Tokyo, Kyoto, Osaka, and then also Hiroshima, and then also maybe Fukuoka, whatever it's called. They've just done it around. You have 2 nights in every city. It'd be too much to really get to explore. Leave it for another trip. But we've been thinking about maybe from Osaka or Kyoto to do a day trip. It sounds crazy. It's in the other end of the country, but doing a day trip to Hiroshima, because with the bullet trains, it's only a 2-hour trip, which is fucking crazy. And we got a limited bullet train travel whilst we're there with the JR pass that we bought. So that's also part of the price I talked about, which is great. And then, we finish in Osaka. And then after Osaka, on the 20th, we go back to Tokyo and have the last 3 days in Tokyo. So we leave back for Denmark on the 23rd. So, man, fuck, I'm so stoked. So we got some comments in regard to the trips, and I also wanted to ask you guys, what do you want to see? Do you want to see vlogs, or because I know this is a beer channel, but I don't want to just be sitting reviewing beers when I'm in Japan, sitting at a bar and reviewing a Japanese beer. I want to experience the culture and kind of share it a bit with you guys. So I want to do some food stuff, trying some, because there's going to be so many things I've never tried before. Trying Kobe beef for the first time. I've never done that. Have to do that on video. Trying like natto for the first time. Trying ramen in Japan for the first time. Trying sushi for the first time. We talked about trying fugu, bufferfish, even though it can kill you, but it won't if you eat it at a proper restaurant. All these things, like you kind of want to document stuff like this, and also like when you go to see some of the sites. So I think we've been talking about doing vlogs, and I'm really happy that Henry is joining because he knows how to work my camera too. And one of the fun things too is that in Japan, because I think I saw a comment about you should review a beer on top of Mount Fuji because we're gonna climb Mount Fuji too. Of course, that was a great idea because in Japan you can drink in public wherever you want. You unless it's like signed that it doesn't like say that you specifically can't. So we could technically try and bring a can of some kind of beer to the top of Mount Fuji and do a beer review on the top of Mount Fuji. That's gonna be a fucking first. I'm pretty sure. We should definitely do that. That was a great idea. Do like beer reviews at fucking crazy sites in Japan. Do a beer review with a bowing deer of Nara. That would be weird. I don't know. But yeah, that's also like a day trip we're going to probably be doing from either Osaka, Tokyo, or Osaka or Kyoto. But we got a few comments about it. So I'm so fucking stoked about that trip. We got a comment quickly about the Sorry Shadow game series. It's kind of like the Seller series of Valhalla. It should be just as good. How come look them up? Okay, I'll try and look them up and see. I think maybe these were the ones that Brett talked about. But looking forward to see that Japan thing. Will you climb Mount Fuji? Yes. And again, as I talk about the whole beer, that would be a fucking great idea. Vids for sure. And you guys like vlogs and vids. I don't think people will mind. Yeah, I don't think, like I've been told, people in Japan are quite used to foreigners walking around, walking around and being weird because there's so many things they don't understand. But since you're coming as a foreigner, you kind of get a get out of jail free card with a lot of things, because you don't really know a lot of it. I've read up a lot about customs and culture, because I want to be respectful when I go there. But I don't think it'll be a problem drinking a beer there. And again, as I said, it's allowed to drink beer in public in Japan, just like it is in Denmark. So that could be interesting. And I know there's a lot of people shooting. There's a lot of a big Japan YouTube community as well. So that will be fun. Vlogs would be great. I love beer, but I love food more. Food is amazing. I love cooking. I love eating. Man, just so many. It's a whole new kitchen I want to explore. I've had ramen in Denmark, and I've had sushi in Denmark, and I've just been told by everyone you can't compare sushi outside of Japan really to like the stuff you get in Denmark. Sushi outside of Japan, you can't compare Japanese sushi to what you get outside of Japan, unless it's like some of these really well-known fine restaurants, and with like a Japanese trained sushi chef, whatnot. Like what you get often, especially like Denmark, a lot of places the sushi is like Danishified. But some of them is like with fried fish and stuff. And there's even like chicken sushi, which is not like with chicken. It's not with uncooked chicken. It's like cooked breaded fried chicken in a sushi roll. Apparently, they don't really do the rolls. That's more of a, I think, Californian thing. I'm sure the most common way to eat it is like eating it as like sashimi, where it's like thin slices and raw, or just on top of rice, which has been marinated in, I think it's rice wine vinegar or something, and it's a bit more vinegary than a lot of the stuff you get in Europe. But the thing is, I've always been disappointed when I tried sushi in Denmark. And then seafood is something I've learned to eat in the last few years, and I've gotten crazy obsessed with what's it called? Like crayfish or crustaceans, like crab and things like that. I guess that's like what you call seafood, and then fish is separate. At least that's how you say it in Danish. That's something I've really loved, and that's also something that's going to be a first for me. We've found a place we're going to go eat seafood in Osaka, where we're going to go and have king crab and Japanese snow crab and things like that for the first time. I've never had fucking king crab. I think I'm going to be in for a treat. Again, not a cheap meal, and everything is like fresh. It's fucking fresh, and you can get it much cheaper than here, where you can't get it fresh. So that's fucking so excited about that. When you mentioned Winton, I had to look him up again and checked his page under channel, and it's a who's who of Beergium Nation, the OG crew. That's right. Yeah, we were the whole Beergium Nation crew. It was me, Winton, Chris, of course. Ryan Jameson, and the Endosymbiosis Daniel. I think that was it. But yeah, Chris kind of just upped and disappeared. I don't think he got a lot of hate when he did like a video saying it was lonely at the top and saying like he was talking about not responding to comments, which I'm terrible at, and I'm sorry for it. And it's not because I don't want to and anything, but life just gets in the way, and sometimes you don't have time to reply, on comments. That's why I should do stuff like this more, because I get to actually talk to you guys, which is awesome. Um, but I've tried to keep up. Like last time, I did a whole like one of my friends like, "Wow, I got a lot of replies from you on YouTube the other day," uh, because I went through like 6 months of comments I hadn't replied on, and it was just like it took me like 5 hours to fucking go through all that stuff. It was crazy, but it gets difficult. That's how it is. But it's yeah, it was. He made that video and he got such a backlash. Like he said, like being lonely at the top and didn't really. I don't know. It was weird, and then all of a sudden he made it like once in a while he did some videos, and then poof. And I haven't really talked to him since. I think maybe he just got burned out. That might be it. I don't know. Vlogs are good ideas. Oh yeah, well I think we'll try that then. Good question. Luang, do food videos. Beer is good, but when you're in Japan, the food and Japanese stuff is interesting. Also vlogs whenever you can. Enjoy your trip. Thanks, dude. Yeah, I try to like whenever I go on trips, I try to do vlogs. The last few trips I've been doing though, I've been like beer trips, so it's been like mostly beer vlogging. But they seem to be quite popular, which is awesome. They usually get quite a lot of views, actually compared to beer reviews. But they're just a lot harder to produce and edit and everything because they are often a bit long. But I'm bringing my what's it called, external hard drive, I think, because I have a feeling I'll be shooting like 2 weeks. I brought it for the US when I was there for a month, and I filled it up with so much fucking footage. I think it will be the same. Like there's gonna be a whole series of just like Japan stuff flooding the channel, probably May or something, like when I'm back and gotten into editing and everything. But I'll try for sure to like I've already looked up and visiting Kyoto Brewing Company, and I know they do have some craft beer bars. Oddly enough, one of the only places, I think it's the only place outside of the US that Fremont distributes to is Japan. And they've had bottles of like Barrel Aged Abominable Ale and Barrel Aged Dark Star and variants and Rusted Nail and shit like that. It's crazy. But I've heard like Japan craft beer prices are kind of high, but it can't be higher than Denmark. I mean, Denmark and Norway and Sweden were like some of the most expensive countries in the world. Also, convenience store sushi from yesterday is cheap and quite good. Oh, nice. That's also one of the things I've been told. You need to go to convenience stores, especially like 7-Eleven. 7-Eleven in Asia and Southeast Asia, and like especially like Japan, is insane with like the food compared to the rest of the world because it's actually pretty decent food and it's not just like whatever random fried stuff that's sitting on a lamp all day. What I associate 7-Eleven food with in Denmark is food you eat when you're either drunk or you're really hungover. You need something greasy, and that's kind of like, well, it's nothing great, but yeah, that's what I've been told. And we'll do some reviews of sake and Japanese whiskey. See, that will be really interesting. I really want to try some really good sake and Japanese whiskey. So that was a good idea to try and do some videos on that. Maybe some kind of tasting video or something. Because I haven't had a lot of sake at all. Most of the sake I've had is from Norway, from Nygner, because they produce sake. It's one of the few places outside of Japan, but I think it'll be great. And Japanese whiskey is world famous. And here I can get to try some without having to buy whole bottles, so that'd be fun. Even though I'm not like I was actually at a whiskey tasting yesterday with Highland Park, and we had a few like the 30-year-old was really good, but I'm not. I'm just not as into spirits as I am to beer. That's just how it is. It was nice, it was fun, but I'm just not like fucking crazy about it. But yeah, I know Japanese whiskey is awesome. Like what's it? Suntory is one of the big companies. There's the Nika whiskeys. I can't remember all of them. There's a lot, but it's like pretty much Japan took, because Japan is a lot about perfecting things. So they took Scotch whiskey, like we're gonna do it ourselves, and we're gonna do just as good, if not better, which is fucking great. But in terms of food, there's so many things. Of course, I talked about ramen, but there's also okonomiyaki. There is the octopus balls. That's not okonomiyaki. That's the pancake, right? what are they? Tokiyaki? Something with T. I can't remember all the names. I've even tried to learn a little bit of Japanese with some apps, but it's fucking difficult when you speak Danish. Even though I pick it up fairly easily, but it's just remembering it because it's quite different sounds to what we speak here. But I think I've heard from a lot of people it's essential just to know a little bit, or at least have an app so you can try and pronounce some things because a lot of people don't speak English, and because it's impolite to not help out a stranger who's in need, they're gonna stick around and just not understand you, but try and be polite and stick around and help in whatever way they can. So if you can like point at a Japanese word and say that, and they can maybe help you. I've been told that works. So um, yeah, but yeah, again, so much food. You still talk to the Panther, Steven? I haven't talked to Steven in years, unfortunately. Actually, most of the guys from Albuquerque, the only one I've still really talked to is Dalton. We talk once in a while. He's a chef now. And Vicky, if you remember her, she was in the video a couple of times, but otherwise I haven't talked much with the other guys. But we've always said that we should meet up again in Albuquerque or something sometime, which would be great. But yeah, I remember it was just I christened him the Panther because he was kind of drunk and I think it was we had a party or something like that, and he was like wanted to be in the review, and he was like, "Can I be the Panther?" And he was drunk. He's like, "Yeah, from now on you're the fucking Panther, dude." Just like Fred is like the Queen of ABV because it's fucking hilarious. So yeah, that's right. He was the Panther. But yeah. So let's see. Was that it? I think so. But yeah, Japanese whiskey, awesome. Yeah, it'll be great to try. So yeah, we'll just see. I mean, we're most of the stuff we've just winged is just or winged planned is food stuff, but there's a few different museums and things, mostly shrines and temples. It'll be fun to see. But yeah, I like planning things, but I like to not have everything set in stone, so you can kind of do what you feel like and what you want. I like to be a little bit spontaneous with things like that. So like, I don't want an itinerary. At this and this time we're gonna go here, and this and this time we're gonna go here, and this and that. And that. I kind of want to do it on my own, like terms. That's why I also didn't book a trip like this through like a travel agency where it's like you're going with a tour agent and shit like that. I don't like that too much. I like doing my own thing. So, but man, I'm so stoked. This is crazy. I don't remember the last time ever being so excited about a thing, and I think that must be like the first time going to the States. Is like, oh, this is so crazy. So that was the update on Japan. This whole crazy beer mail from Beerdome Beergium. Thanks a ton, so you guys for watching and being so active in the comments. This was fucking fantastically fun. I need to do this again. Maybe I'll do a live stream in Japan. That would be amazing because we're definitely going to get some Wi-Fi, either portable Wi-Fi or SIM cards for the phones because I think we need Google and maps. Not necessarily Google Map, but maps, but other Japanese services. I've been looking this stuff up. So this will be great. Yeah, thanks a ton for watching, guys. This was great fun. If you have any recommendations, comments, anything you want to see from Japan and the trip, feel free. You can send me a message on here or on Facebook or my email or whatever. I'm on Twitter. I'm all these things. If you have any ideas and suggestions, even recommendations, if any of you guys have been to Japan, because I know a few of you have, it would be amazing to get some like recommendations for different things. Beer review in the suicide forest. No, man, I'm not. What's his face? That douche. What the hell was his name? I don't even remember. The guy who filmed in the suicide forest and found a dead body. Jake Paul, the fucking asshole idiot. Was so Logan Paul, whatever. Logan Jake, popular 12-year-old kids watch them or whatever. But seriously, oh, they seem like the biggest dickheads in the world. I love when PewDiePie shits on them. But yeah, no, I don't even think we're going to the suicide forest because I think it's not close to anywhere where we're going to go. It could be interesting though just to see it, but I've heard from people who've been there, it's fucking weird being there. Try yuzu sake when you're there. I recommend it. Yeah, vending machines. That's gonna be fun. But yeah, so thanks a ton for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Again, comments, recommendation, anything, feel free to leave them here. Email, Facebook, whatever, social media jazz. Thanks a bunch to both Beerdome and Beergium for these hype beer mails. We've been going for almost 1 hour and 40 minutes now. It's crazy. Again, thanks so much for your comments and interaction. This has been great. Sumo fights. Henrik and I are going to do a sumo fight drunk on top of Mount Fuji whilst reviewing a beer. And yeah, cheers in my empty cup of coffee. And now I'm going to go get my dinner going or reheated. And see you guys on YouTube. If I can figure out how to do this. Is that here? Okay, yeah, there we go. So cheers, guys.